What's up, everybody? I'm back for another review here. So I've owned my kayak for let's call it a few years now, I can't remember. And over time I've slowly upgraded, added to it. This season I made a big upgrade, at least in my mind. We added the Motor Guide Xi3 with pinpoint GPS. This thing's pretty slick. So I had to do some pretty substantial upgrades here to get this to mount on the bow. Everything else I looked at was a transom mount back here, which probably could have worked, but I didn't like the idea of having to turn around or create a pulley system to steer it. So I went with the bow mount, and I think the key here is that it's got that pinpoint GPS. So a couple of things I had to do in order to mount this thing. I mounted a battery box in the back. I tried to even out the weight a little bit. I am running a Dakota Lithium 54 amp hour lithium ion battery. So the weight is down considerably. It fit perfectly in this Bass Pro Shop water resistant box. So I've got it mounted inside, and then I ran my power wire into the kayak through a waterproof conduit. I had to open up the kayak in 2 slots, so 2 portholes I opened up, one in the back and then one in the front. And then this is where the end is for those wires that come from the battery. So I bought you could probably buy several different plug mounts. This just happened to be the one I had available at Bass Pro. So that plugs in here like so. And like I said, I ran it through a waterproof conduit that stretches from here all the way back. The most difficult part of that was actually this connection right here. This kind of comes in and goes back like that, so it's like a 90-degree. And man, from this opening that I made here and getting my arm, basically from there over to there, that was really tough. I think I had some bruising on my arms that lasted for a couple weeks after I got that done. But I was able to connect it with like a shark bite where you can push the connections together. So it's pretty watertight. It's not bad. I think this is a messy part where I've upgraded to a Garmin 7-inch UHD side scan, and because of that I've got a larger transducer, and the Perception's transducer slot, which kind of hard to see, but the transducer slot does not fit the larger side scan transducer, so had to go with a different solution. I went with the Yak Attack sidearm, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a rail mount, sidearm transducer mount. It flips over into the water. This is actually my power cord. I use a Dakota Lithium Powerbox that I hook up to the power cord there and just have it kind of mounted under my seat there. It's removable, so I don't have to worry about someone taking it or something weird. Yeah, these rod holders, the Rail Blaza rod holders, have been pretty good to me. Probably need to be tightened a little bit, you know. I also installed a paddle holder. The other thing I purchased, which I would say is well worth it, are these Perception saddlebags. They fit perfectly in that slot right there, and secured with these bungees on both sides. It comes in and out pretty easily, and that thing will fit 2 smaller tackle storage box, 1 larger one, and even if you put a larger one in there, you can still squeeze a smaller one in there, but just not 2 large ones. I got 1 for each side, and those have been great. The other thing that I bought, Perception soft-sided crate. This has been great, actually. I keep all my extra boxes in here, and I just keep it in the back of my truck, honestly. It does, even with the battery box on the back. When I put it on the back like that, it doesn't fit perfectly, but because of those blue elastic cords, I can strap it down. There's also, all these different little connections. I got carabiners on them, so it's super easy to strap down. So when I'm on a, like a longer day trip or something, or if the weather's iffy, I need to throw an extra jacket or some waterproof stuff in, I can easily do it. Okay, so I was going to explain a little bit more about this mount that I did. Some of the kayaks out there, there's a company that makes a pre-fitted and pre-made mount, and unfortunately for the Perception Outlaw 11.5, they didn't have one available when I did this. So the plan was to do a step-by-step build out, but I never really had a good plan, and so I kind of made it up as I went and just never could really do a video about it. But the follow-up video is that I basically built this from scratch. As you can see with the way that this is recessed, you're not able to just mount the mounting plate directly onto the kayak. I ended up buying some polycarbonate cutting boards, and I used those to kind of fill the gap essentially. And I screwed 2 of these together on the back side over here. I added like another layer. You can kind of see right there, just a little sliver at the end, so that it leveled and sat evenly on the back. And then everywhere, essentially underneath all of these, I included some expanding foam. Not like the spray kind, but the kind on a strip. You can see right here, up under there, and up under there. Really just to kind of make sure that it sat level, and as you can see, it does a pretty good job of sitting level. One of the issues, just so everyone's aware, is that when it gets really hot, I've found that I think because the expanding foam is squishy and it moves and the plastic is melty it's sometimes it's difficult to line those holes up so that the pin goes through to the other side. So I can get it in one side, but I have to really jiggle it around to make sure that it lines up with the other side. So I have had some issues when it's really hot, but outside of that, it's been pretty good. The other thing, like I mentioned, you know, I think from basically right here, this is where where I've actually screwed this into the kayak, is from here back this way. So like anything from here forward of the kayak, there's nothing screwed in to the kayak because there's no way to screw anything in to the kayak. So what I did, I think it's just like a little bit of peace of mind, really. I just put this Velcro strap on here, strapped it down as tight as I could, and then I screwed this into the cutting boards underneath. So it's a little fail-safe, but really just to make myself feel better, like I've got something there. So the other issue, I brought the motor out just to explain it a little bit, but the release for the motor, it's locked into place right here, and the release is this foot pedal. So, you know, typically this is mounted on a place where you can step on it with your foot. In the case of the Perception Outlaw bow mount, can't really use my foot. So what I have to do is like crawl up to the front, and when I do that, it puts so much additional weight up here that this, you know, front area, it does definitely fill up with water. So it probably is advisable, I've seen other people do it, to create some kind of a pulley system or some kind of a system to release this latch, and then also to kind of pull your motor back when you're coming in. So right now I crawl up, get a bunch of water in there. It all goes through the scupper holes, but you know, it makes you nervous when there's a couple inches of water in here and you've got this opening that you created. You never know how sealed those things stay. And yeah, outside of that, it's been a pretty good build out, and everything's worked pretty well. So, all right, so let's take a look at a couple of items from the kayak. So this is that Dakota Lithium Powerbox 10. I use this to run my Garmin. It's nice. It's got some extra slots. You could charge your phone, charge a battery. It's got the car lighter battery slot. This one, you just hook up your charger directly to these connectors, flip the switch, and you're charging. It's also got a flashlight on the side. Let's see. Boom, light. So, boom, shine the light on the next one, which is my Garmin. This is the you can see that there, the Garmin UHD 73 SV. Great unit. I love it. It's the fact that the face comes off is great. I also wanted to show you guys this saddlebag a little closer too. So like I was saying, it fits, you can fit two of these smaller tackle boxes in here, two of them front to back like that, and you know, right here to here, and then it actually leaves you quite a bit of space over here for some smaller stuff or extra storage. You can also fit a larger, I can't remember what size it is, it's 3700 or whatever the size tackle box is, but it'll take up this whole space, and then you can also squeeze a smaller one in the front. Really like that. And then this right here, this is probably the number one reason I went with the Motor Guide when it came to the trolling motor. This controls the motor You know, I could essentially be hands-free. Put this around my neck. This is like a you know, like a waypoint or like a setting a path button. So if I'm on like a straight path and I just want to keep trolling along a certain shoreline, just hit this and it'll kind of keep me on the same path. This is that cruise control? I don't remember actually what that one is. This engages and disengages the motor, and then you've got your, you know, accelerator up, accelerator down, left, right steering. This kind of cancels everything out. Back to like manual. And here's the key number, the key button, the anchor lock. So I find a spot on the Garmin I like, I hit the anchor lock, and the trolling motor does the rest. It'll sit there and keep me in a spot. And then these are also like kind of like quick waypoints, so I can like save these when I get to a lake. And I haven't really tested it out too much, but supposedly I can like save a waypoint and then hit this waypoint and it'll bring me back there. So this thing's great. It's realistically, this is the reason I got the Motor Guide trolling motor over the others. So, and then finally, this is actually something I've had since I purchased the kayak several years ago. So it's the Chinook, the NRS Chinook, I should say, and it's got the high back. But I just really wanted to kind of show you like what it looked like up close. So it's got, you know, good storage, pockets here and there, places to put pliers, extra zippers and slots, and places where you can hook on lanyards. It's been a pretty good PFD. It's been a good PFD. So, highly recommend it after multiple years of use. But this is kind of the essentials for where I'm at these days. Just kind of wanted to share.